Hey, what up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the SC28. It is the Team Associated makes it. It's a little 128 scale platform, and I'm going to install some parts that I got from a dude online, and I'll tell you more about it in just a second. Alright, so like I said, Team Associated makes these little things here. They're 128 scale. They come in different like body styles, a little different configurations. These are the short course ones, so they are the SC28 is what it's called, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun, especially inside for me and my son. This is the first RC that I got as an adult. When I was a kid, I had the Radio Shack Baja Beetle or Baja Bug, and then the little yellow pickup truck looking RC car or RC truck, whatever you want to call it. But I couldn't afford a lot as a kid. My parents, didn't want to spend a whole ton of money on these things, and they didn't really have it. So, now that I'm older and I can afford it and appreciate it, I've kind of gotten back into it a little bit. And yeah, it's good stuff. So these little dudes here, they come with, your standard clips in the back and the front. I took those off and did like a magnet thing, just because I like magnets better than clips. I just used the stock posts. So you have one here in the back and then one in the front. I just took off the stock tower. This is what the stock one looked like. It had like two posts coming out. And then I took off the front one, which was a single post. And then that hole that's pre-existing, I just used some magnets that I had, and I ran a bolt through the bottom, and then I put a nut on it. So that works really good, man. These bodies are so light. This looks like poop underneath, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see that, and it works. It's effective. The body stays where it needs to stay, even over jumps and stuff. And then it's really easy to take it off and on when you're swapping out batteries. The only modification other than that I've done so far is I opened up the case here, and inside is a battery that you charge through your remote. So when you buy this thing, you get your remote, and in the bottom here, if I remember correctly, there's a wire that comes out of here, and it just goes through this little notch here. And then that plugs into the side of the truck, which is this hole here. And that's how you charge it, from your remote to an internal battery. But I got sick of waiting for that, so what I did was I cut this battery out. This is the original one. And I had some LiPo, I think they're LiPo. I got one in my pocket here, hold on. LiPo, I don't know what the hell rating it is, but all you do is you solder a plug onto the truck here, and then you can run a battery with whatever plug you want to use, I suppose. I think this one is called the JST. Don't quote me though, but it works. And then I just use some Velcro and Velcro the battery onto the body or onto the chassis, and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's been a super awesome upgrade. So this is my son's truck here. It's the same exact model, the SC28. Did the same things with his. Got rid of the stock battery, put an aftermarket in there. These damn hairs, man. Jesus criminy. Look at this. I don't believe it. But anyway, if you run them inside and you have a dog or a cat or longer hair, these axles like to get hair stuck in them like crazy. drives me nuts. It'll actually drag on the car if you don't get it out fast enough. But anyway, sorry about that. So I did the same modifications with his. Did the magnet mount. This one I use washers on on the bottom. Looks a little bit better than mine, but it does the same exact thing. Another quick cool thing that I just wanted to show you is I also did the couple of bodies. So this was just a toy that was laying around on the shelf that kind of sucked as a toy because it would just spin out and not really do anything. So I did the magnet mount on that one, and my son loves this thing. It kind of rejuvenated it, made it neater for him. So he loves this thing so much, man. And then I did like a Ford Pinto, and I did the first kind of rustic, make it look old, like a jalopy. Like the Pinto was awesome as it was. I had to make it better. But this one hopefully won't catch on fire. But anyway, just a short little quick thing on that you have many choices with this little body and this little thing here. You can do all sorts of cool stuff and make it unique. You're not just stuck with one body. You can get creative. Alright, so thanks for sticking with me so far here. Now, the whole point of this video that I was getting to is there's a dude named Alex Beech. I'm going to try and put a link or at least some information in the description of this video. I don't really know how to put it on the video itself, so look into the information section on the video or the description of the video. And there's a dude named Alex Beech. He created a Facebook page all about the 128s scale cars. They have the DR28, SC28, CR28, a whole bunch of different ones. But he decided to make a Facebook group about it, or page. There's like 100 and some odd followers already, which is awesome. I think these little guys deserve a lot of credit because they're really durable and fun. But he decided to make a little kit. As you can see on this one here, the rear is 2 shocks on the back. They're just springs. There's no oil in there, nothing. Not much, well, no adjustability on it. They just mount top and bottom. So the rear end has suspension. The front does not, so it just sits on there. This whole front end, it's like one arm, will eventually sag on some of these, and you have no dampening, no nothing. It's just there. It's solid. So it works fine, but he decided to make some springs with a little adjustability in the front. So he changed the whole front end. He just designed it, made it, and sold it. So definitely kudos to him, and follow his page. He's a good guy, cool dude, and he's got some pretty good ideas here. So we're gonna try and mount this. He also has a YouTube on it, so I'm not trying to copy him. I just wanted to put it onto my channel and maybe get a little bit more, or not more, but different audience, Now this thing is apparently 3D printed. I don't have a 3D printer, and yeah, so to me it was worth the money to buy this. It wasn't that expensive at all, and it looks to be pretty solid. You do have some different adjustabilities here. It looks like he went with 4 different adjustment points on the top of the shock tower. He also included some different ride height sort of things, and it appears to be pretty good. So we're going to test it out and see after we install it here, and we'll see what that does for this little truck. Alright, so these guys stock come with Phillips head, which I personally cannot stand, so maybe not today, but maybe one day I will go ahead and switch that out. But what I'm going to start with is taking out these 3 screws that hold the front body mount to the chassis. I'm going to go ahead and take off these bottom two screws. I did watch his video, so I am cheating here, okay guys? I've had this thing apart obviously to do that battery swap, and there's really nothing to these things. They're pretty small, I guess, but they're relatively easy to access everything. So I'm going to take off the bottom two screws. Now the bumper comes off. I don't know if I'm going to have to loosen anything else up. I can't quite remember. I only watched this video once, but I think I'm going to maybe leave it there. Maybe I'll just, let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think I'm going to take off the next two screws also. So I'm going to go ahead and do these two screws here also, but I'm going to leave the back ones on and see if this gains us a little more access. I think it will. I'm not trying to take the whole damn thing apart. I really don't want to. So I'm just going to try and separate it a little bit. So we're going to go... Oh, there we go. Alright. So that kind of works. Alright, so we got the front end taken apart. I'm just going to sandwich that back together for now and put it off to the side. God damn it, did I already lose one of these? Son of a bitch. So yeah, importance of keeping your workbench clean, not losing stuff. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. So now we got the front end taken apart. Looks like I'm going to have to transfer a few things over to the new setup. Alright, so it appears that there's little pins here that you have to shove out to get the wheel off of everything. So I'm just going to push it down and then try and pry it a little bit and see if it comes out. It looks like it is coming out. Yep, there we go. And then we're going to do the other side. So see this little pin here, you got to kind of shove it up a little bit with your nail if you have a nail. And then we're going to pry it out with a flat head if you have a flat head. And then pull that off to the side. Okay, so now the old is out, and time to put the new in. So I think we're just going to reverse the process, stick the pins in there, and then we should be good. Alright, so now we're going to grab our new suspension piece here, and we're going to line up our wheel and hub onto the shock tower, and we're gonna I'm gonna start this pin a little bit first and get it kind of flush, and then we're gonna go ahead and shove it back together and see how it lines up. Hopefully it goes good. It's kind of hard to see these little guys. Yeah, it seems to be going good. Make sure you get that pin all the way into the bottom one too, so that way you have a good connection there. It's going. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and put the other side in. Same thing. I'm going to start the pin a little bit ahead of time. Get it kind of flush. There we go. And then we're going to shove that pin in. This is probably the hardest part, especially because it's cold in the garage. I just fired up the heater and my hands are frickin' freezing. Alright, now we're going to try and get this back together. One thing, the first time I took this thing apart to do that battery swap, one thing I figured out, and Alex shows this in his video too. Hey, look at that. I found the clip. It was stuck to the damn magnet. Perfect. Alright, so anyway, one thing I found out the kind of hard way, I guess, was this servo on this thing. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little pin in there, and that little pin locks into this little notch here. Alright, so if you try and put this back together the way it sits, it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. So if you turn everything on and move that steering servo, okay, so I'm going to plug in the battery, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn that steering servo, and what this is going to do is gain access to that pin. So go ahead and turn on your radio, turn on the truck, and then I'm going to spin it off to the side. So you're going to turn the wheel as if you're turning left, and then go ahead and shut off the truck. What that does is that moves that arm out to where you can actually gain access to it while you're working on it, and then you just flip the switch off and it stays in position. That is one of the best tips in doing this, okay? So now that I have that off to the side, I'm going to try and shove all this stuff back in there and see if I can get it to line up correctly. This is a difficult part, but it's not that bad. Just have to kind of get everything in there. It will eventually fall into place once you get it all together. So you separate your two halves of your chassis, and then you shove this thing in there. Okay. Now, this is when you got to get your pin to line up. Like I said, these things aren't hard to work on compared to you know, some of the bigger scales, but you do have to get everything to line up correctly. If you don't, which I don't, then you're going to struggle it a little bit, but eventually you'll see how it goes. And it will all work. It will all go into place. So I'm gonna struggle with this for a second. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna turn the radio back on. Battery's still plugged in. I'm just gonna kind of pinch this together because I don't have any of the screws in yet. Now your steering will center itself. This one it just automatically centers like most RCs, okay? Now I'm just going to turn my wheels. I seem to have full steering here. I don't see any binding. Alright, so now you just reverse the process. I took off 2 screws on the top here, so I'm going to shove those back in. I got 2 screws on the bottom. And then I got my shock tower, or the body mount, body post, and then we'll give it a once over again. Overall, it was easy, super easy, good design. It's cool, man. I think it's going to be fun. You can see, obviously, you know, your camber gets way jacked as you know, it drops, but I mean, this thing weighs like nothing, you know, so. And I mean, I don't race it. It's not like to me, this is not a competitive piece. It's just a fun piece. So I thought it was a very neat idea. I like the fact that it has suspension in the front now. I think it was really fun to install. I think it should perform better. I'm going to drive it in a little bit here. Like I said, they weigh nothing. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But I'd like to have independent suspension in the rear more, so maybe you can come up with that, dude. But let's see here. I don't know. I don't know how far I'll go with this thing either. You know, the motor, everything seems to work fine. It's fast enough for what I do in my living room. in my house until spring hits. Then I'm going back outside with my bigger trucks. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to check out the Facebook page, and then also you can find us on Instagram, Double D's RCs. I'll post a comment or a link in the description also for this video, and then I'm going to post some running videos of this thing here right about now.